What's up, everybody? It's your favorite Jedi, who's allowed to sit on the council but not given the rank of Master's favorite nerd, and today we are looking at the Star Wars Black Series Archive Anakin release. We're gonna look at the figure, we're gonna compare it with the old edition, we're gonna compare it with the Figuarts, we're gonna have some final thoughts, and we're gonna get out of here, but you know where we start. We start with accessories. He comes with an alternate head. The sculpt is not as close, it doesn't look as bad on a profile, but from the front, not as much of a good job. The paint is done well, the scarring is done, and the eyes have the Sith eyes, and they're pretty straight. The hair is done fairly well and has a deep brown wash on it, so that all works. It's just a matter of accuracy, really, with this one. He comes with his lightsaber, the hilt and the blade. The hilt has some red accents on it and black accents on the gray plastic, as well as some copper on there as well. That's 3 paint apps on an accessory, ladies and gents. And then it has the blade, which you can insert. And you know what I want? A white rod through the center and a blue translucent around it, much like a lollipop that somebody pointed out. And you're absolutely right, sir. So let's take a look at what it can do. It can plug into his belt. He can hold it. And then he can also have this hand kind of do nothing. Also just kind of like holding, you know what? Now he's got something. He's holding the blade. And let's talk about the figure. So this head sculpt, I think, looks pretty good. It's not 100%, but it definitely has some of the likeness. Like, you can instantly tell who it's supposed to be. Whereas the other one, I'm not exactly sure if it was standing alone that you would be able to tell. This one looks like Hayden. Doesn't look exactly like him, but it looks close enough. The digital paint is done well, which is the new stuff here. And then the hair is painted brown with a deep brown wash. All looks good, the scar looks good, the lips look good, it all looks good. We get into a little trouble as we get below that though. The disc hinge obviously sticks out because this is before they were using the double ball peg system. And the flesh tone is painted on because it's all cast in this darker brown. So the medium brown is painted on, the darkest brown is painted on, and then the lighter brown is painted on, and then the flesh is painted on. So on one hand, there's 1, 2, 3 paint apps, so that's nice. On the other hand, you know, it doesn't always look right? Because you're painting this light color over top of this dark color, and you can see through it a little bit. There's also this little bit here, and I've seen pictures online of people who have bought this figure. It seems like everybody has this exact same paint issue. I mean, it's just like a little overspray, but it's just interesting to me that everybody seems to have it. All right. Otherwise, it looks good. It's sculpted well as well, and the paint is pretty clean throughout, with the exception of that one little area and the fact that you have to use that lighter shade to cover up the darker brown. Let's get it to focus, shall we? All right. So the shoulders are on a disc hinge. Let's back out a little bit. It's struggling. The shoulders are on a disc hinge. You get 90 degrees out and around. No issues. You got a single hinge at an elbow that'll also give you the bicep swivel. It's a little shy of 90 degrees, which I have found limiting while posing the figure. Then you got the copper paint down here that all looks good. The wrists are on a swivel. This one hinges in and out. This one hinges in and out. This one's painted. This one's cast in brown plastic and sculpted. This one's cast in the skin tone and sculpted. So there's that. All of the robes and tunics and so forth all are sculpted well. Nice wrinkles and kind of seam work along the edges. All that stuff looks great. Kudos, kudos, kudos. Belt is all sculpted. Silver paint, copper paint on the belt. Here, and then silver paint there. It's a big old circle mag, big old button on that unit. And then on the back we got a couple as well. And the belt is washed. So another little nice thing. Then we have the soft goods underneath. It's subtle and it works well. We have the softer plastic on top. Good. T-jointed ball joints for hips. Get you out to there. Forward and back to there. So a fair range. Thigh swivel. Double jointed knee. Knee looks really dumb bent, but I think it's acceptable for what it ultimately is. Nice sculpt work in the pants, as we said before, and the boots are sculpted tremendously as well. So we got a disc hinge for the ankle with a peg that goes into the foot. That gives us an ankle tilt up slightly, a nice one down, and a rocker. So no issues there, and even got some sculpt work on the bottom of the feet. And there he is from the back. So decent enough, and I think that the face sculpt really adds something to it, but the only way to know for sure is to look at the older version. And great Lord high in the heavens, look at what difference paint can make. It's night and day. Look how goofy the old one looks in comparison to the new one in regards to the face. It's really quite impressive, and it says something about you know, what paint can add, also where Black Series kind of is at this time, like in terms of improvements. So I don't think that we should kind of turn our noses up to it. And there's the Figuarts. And I got news for you. I'm not sure that the Figuarts head sculpt is better. I think the Hasbro one might be better, which would, I think, be the first time that I actually say that. Now, obviously, the Figuarts is built better, the engineering is more elegant, the figure works better, all that sort of stuff. Yes, definitely. But just looking at aesthetics, I can't say that the Hasbro is worse. I can't. I have to say it's better. Neither of them are perfect. Whoa, not that way. Let's back out a little bit. But I mean, I don't know. Something to think about, at the very least. And surprising. You know, I've been on this train for a long time, and it stopped at some interesting locations, I must say. But if you would have told me 3 years ago that Black Series was going to have a face sculpt and paint that challenged the Figuarts, I would have told you were out of your mind. Now look at us. Kind of crazy. So there is my Jedi Council, and I swapped out my Figuarts for him. That's a first. That's a first, and I don't like everything about him better, but there's enough that I like better where it was worth it to me. And I got my Figuarts down here now with my Palpatine. I can't show you too much of that. I got stuff coming there that I can't show you quite yet, but yeah. And then I got the old Hasbro one in the back there, which I'll use for a custom. Just you know, you can always have more Jedi, so we'll make him into something eventually once I get this kind of underneath my feet. But yeah, looks good. Final thoughts wise, this is a really solid effort. I'm not crazy about the alternate head, like if we're gonna get into negatives. It's just not for me. I don't think they did a good job of capturing the character. I think Angry Hayden is a really hard thing to get because we have a hard time seeing one that's done properly. But that being said, I think this one is one of the worst. I also hate a C holding hand. When you only have one accessory, it doesn't make any sense. Stop doing it. Now the general kind of rebuttal to that is, well, we'll use the second hand to hold the lightsaber with two hands. But I got news for you. Because of the articulation being a little limited with the Black Series, he doesn't hold it with two hands very well. You can feel free to try it on your own should you buy the figure. He'll do it, it just looks awkward. So give us some extra hands, or give us some gesturing hands, or something to make our shelves look a little bit more dynamic. But that's really about it for the negatives. Plenty of positives. The new head, in terms of paint application, looks amazing. Fantastic job. The sculpt work on the tunics and pants and boots and all that kind of stuff is done extremely well. The integration of soft goods and soft plastics and hard plastics and dry brushing and washing and all that stuff, like, it's just checks a lot of boxes on its way down for $20. I keep saying that, but it keeps being a fact. So yeah, strong recommend from me. I think Hasbro's doing a bang up job. I commend them. The improvement is just out of this world. In a galaxy far, far away, you might say. Couldn't help myself. Thanks for listening. Thanks for watching. Until next time, take care.